hold you up anymore. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Take it easy. All right, bye-bye. See video description for links to street epistemology communities, training resources, and more. This discussion meandered a bit more than my usual chats, so I've made a series of edits to keep things flowing. Skip to the 7-minute, 29-second mark if you want to get right to the discussion. Howdy. What are you guys doing out there with your pruners?
We're cleaning up the trails, kind of getting the brush out of the sides so you don't walk into it.
So you don't just like run into a branch or something and come around? Nice.
What are you up to?
I'm interviewing folks for a hobby that I have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I just got done interviewing this young lady. It was awesome. Good 30-minute talk.
So you're just interviewing them about what?
Well, that's the neat thing. I asked them to select a belief, pick something that they think is true.
Oh, okay.
And they think karma is real, or everything happens for a reason, or hi. That's going on.
So what were you doing? Just interviewing people?
Yes. Yeah, they were actually just asking what I was doing. Yeah. Do you guys want to do an interview?
Sure.
Yeah. Can we stand in the shade though?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know how I'm doing.
What brings you out here though, just for this purpose?
Yeah, and I'm gonna have to switch out my battery. So
Okay,
as I'm switching out my battery, I'll tell you exactly what I'm doing.
Okay.
And I have another camera above your head that's recording me. The audio improves in less than 2 minutes. I feel like I was hiding that from you or something. And I've started keeping my batteries in the cooler because my camera gets so hot.
Oh, that's smart.
It's incredible. So, okay, how much of this do you know what I'm doing out here? Have you seen me out here before? First time here?
Oh, I mean, I've never seen you here before, but I've been here.
Okay, yeah, I've been coming here for a while. So I'm doing this thing called street epistemology, and I'm doing the street version of it, where I stop strangers. Mm-hmm. Normally, when we use street epistemology, it's just organically. I'm in an Uber, the driver makes a claim, and I ask him how he can be so sure that it's true.
Okay.
And I use Socratic questioning to explore a deeply held belief.
Okay.
So, like, you think karma is real, or magic, or you think a God is real.
Mm-hmm.
Lately, I've been exploring phobias.
Okay.
And I've been exploring anxieties as well as prejudices. But no matter, when it's a belief that's very tied to who you are as a person.
Well, that's cool because I don't know who I am, so.
Part of the beauty of these talks is to really help people figure out, did the map that you've built of reality, does that map actually match reality?
Mm-hmm.
And what I find is by asking these questions, it helps people do a double check, basically. Kind of like check your work when you're doing a math problem or something.
Yeah.
Now,
You do one at a time?
Well, I was going to say, it's a little tougher with 2 people.
I can chill. Yeah,
But I mean, we can do a joint interview if you both share the same view.
Timely wise, I think that would be similar. But what do you want to do?
I don't care. Whatever.
Yeah, we're similar.
You're similar? All right, let me erase my board. Normally I have a good, few minutes in between interviews and I can get prepared and stuff. But
That's okay. I got excited because I was like, I think I can't do an interview.
So like, is it like an organization or like a...
Not yet. We've been talking about forming an organization.
Who's we?
Me and the practitioners of this method.
Okay.
Yeah. Because what we're finding is that this seems to be a really great way to respectfully challenge sensitive topics that people sometimes shut down on if you present them with facts or something. Where's he going?
I think he left his stuff over there.
Okay.
His backpack.
Okay.
He just runs away.
I was gonna
doesn't say anything.
Damn,
He's just like over. You're like, this is what I do. He's like, nope.
Well, if there was something valuable in there, I guess I can understand.
Yeah, I think it has my phone in it. His phone.
What is your first name?
Tatum, like Channing Tatum.
Mm-hmm. When did you start adding that?
Recently, because people be like,
And people will be like, is that your real name?
Because he's only been around for what, maybe 5-10 years or something?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I'm not that old, so.
Is it Tatum?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
I thought I'd get my own thing.
Yeah, throw it on there, man.
Oh,
Actually, I would love to have a second angle. Can I throw my phone on it?
Oh, I was gonna throw my phone on it.
Yeah, go for it. What is your first name?
Dylon. D-Y-L-O-N.
D-Y-L-O-N.
It'll have to be in the shade a bit.
Yeah.
You want this angle real quick? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
I was gonna say, I'll give you a card when we're done so you can email the footage, and then I can merge it all together. Because it's nice to be able to jump from one to the other.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. I like that.
Okay. I think we're recording there. I think we're recording there. Yeah, the battery looks good on that one. I'll stand here. I think that would probably be good.
Okay. Am I in a good spot?
You're perfect.
Yay.
Yeah. What are we talking about? What belief do you both share that you really feel strongly about?
Oh, there's not a list of options.
Okay. Yeah.
Karma.
Like a
Karma is usually
broad,
popular. Supernatural stuff.
Supernatural.
You
I would
think
say,
everything
like,
happens for a reason. You believe in the secret.
The law of attraction.
The law of attraction.
I work at a metaphysical bookstore, so
Yeah.
I'm familiar with all the.
Yeah. Are you into all that stuff, or are you more skeptical?
I see both sides of it. Like
She's
I'm
really
like,
good with like being skeptical.
yeah, like I'm like this. For example, let's do crystals. For example, those are a big thing in the metaphysical.
Yeah. You sell them?
They sell them there.
Hi.
And so with crystals, it's like part of it is like crystals are, they have their own energy, or there's like beings that are in souls that are like tied to crystals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or it's a rock and it's a placebo effect. You know, if I think like this one right here, this is
You're
like,
wearing one.
I am wearing one.
Okay.
So this is a moldavite, which is like, it comes from, you can only get it from the Czech Republic, and so it's like a rarity, and it's like a super powerful, like on a spiritual transformative level to like bring you to your highest self. And
Do you wear that because you think that's the case, or are there other reasons why you're wearing it?
I mean, there could be multiple aspects to why I'm actually wearing it. One is I can.
Yeah.
Are you a videographer or something? 'Cause
Yeah, we do video and stuff.
I really like how you're nailing it. In fact, since we're being particular about it, I'm going to turn it just like that.
Okay. Because I was in the sun
right.
a little bit. That's all. I was just.
Yeah, you're going to have like a
angle.
sunburn on your head.
Yeah. Well, let's do one of the things that you were saying.
Could we do the crystals?
Yeah,
We do crystals?
I can do
I would love to.
crystals.
You want to just hang up? Just stay there. You're
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
I'm making a thought if I wanted to.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, go on.
And try not to be deterred by his presence.
Okay, yeah.
It sounds like you. Okay. All right, let's do another 5.
Okay. Let me see if this is recording.
Okay. You work at a shop. You sell all sorts of things. One of the things that you sell are these crystals. You're even wearing one around your neck.
Yes, multiple actually. This is all.
You got a
stones
couple
as
of them.
well, yes.
Okay. And I'm curious why you actually are wearing them. Do you think that they really do have powers? Or are they just pretty little necklaces that you like to wear?
So I think,
Or something else? I don't want to pigeonhole you to this too.
So I think that my personal belief on them is like, for this one, I set the intention of what it does in my life, and then it is kind of the placebo effect that I kind of create for myself. And it could be based off of what I can Google what does moldavite do? That's the stone that I'm wearing right now. What does moldavite do? And there's this book, there's readings on the internet, there's videos on these are the properties of moldavite. If you wear it, this is what you will do. You will transform at a rapid pace into your highest version of yourself, like rapid transformation. And so then I can give that intention to this in my head. Like I'm like, okay, that's what it's for. If I wear this, that's what I'm doing. I'm transforming rapidly. So
you read an explanation of what this thing can do. You then communicate with the object, or you.
It could be there are like ritual. I did this once. I was like, okay, I'm gonna anoint what they mean. Like I'm like, you are gonna help me like remember my dreams, and you're gonna help me do this, and you're gonna help me be more loving. Whatever it is that. Whatever aspect of my life that stone is meant for, and I would actually look up the definition for that stone. But I mean, I could do that with a random thing like this. I actually don't know what all these stones are, and I just use this necklace as just like, and then setting it to be like, oh, just be authentic in your life. That's what this one means. Okay. But this one is like the rapid transformation.
Okay, I want to repeat back what I think you said. And I think you said that you will look up what these things mean, and then you'll impart that meaning on that object, and then, but the piece that I was missing is then what happens? Is the object then making those things happen, or because you've set the intention? I think you said, are you now becoming that positive thing that this thing is representing because you're doing it yourself? Is the object doing it?
I think
Something
I'm
else?
doing it myself, and this is a belief that I feel like most people don't have. Most people think it's up to the stone, like they cannot do this without the stone.
If I lost that stone, I would be devastated or something. Yeah,
but I understand that like it's me creating it. So
okay, you could if you lost this on the trail just now. It wouldn't be the end of the world if you just went back to your store and bought another one and imbued it
this
again.
one's kind of expensive, so I'd be bummed, but
There would be a cost, but we're talking monetary rather than
yes.
mental anguish or something like that. Okay.
There is, with stones, people also do feel like stones call them. Certain types of stones call you at a certain time in your life, which I guess because there's stones that I have on my list that I want to buy right now. For certain things, but that's more of like things that I want to work on. I think that I'm like, oh, this stone aligns with what I want to work on, so I'm drawn to that one because
I'm kind of wondering how you mentioned it's expensive. Do you mind sharing roughly?
this one. So moldavite is, you can only get it from the Czech Republic. So it's a rare stone. This actually is from space, so that's also where it's more exciting because it's from like a meteorite that came from space and created these stones. And so this one I got a discount because I worked there, but it originally cost $90 for this piece, which is actually a good deal for this kind of stone. Yeah.
Do you have the ability to set the intention in objects for more than one thing? Like now that you have this stone, can you set intentions for all sorts of things? Can this one object represent that so that you don't have to keep going out and buying $90 stones? Or is this a one-time only thing? This stone is really only good for this. If you're setting the intention, why would you need to buy more than one thing?
Yeah, I can change the intention, but in my mind, like with the crystal specifically, if I want to work on multiple things, like say I want to work on like being more money, let's do a material thing, money. I want to attract more money in my life. I could clean the intention off of this, like mindfully be like, okay, you're not going to help me transform anymore, you're going to help me attract money. But in my own mind, like I feel like I can't put too many intentions on one thing. I feel like it is possible, but for me personally, I guess I prefer to do it with multiple objects.
So not only are you setting intentions on objects, you're also setting limitations of the number of intentions you can set on the object.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like this one can be for transformation, and then I'm thinking like in my placebo effect, like I set that intention for transformation, so I'm running around. But this one actually can be to attract like material wealth as well. And even though I'm not like focused on that right now, I guess subconsciously I could, because I read that it does that too, so it's like subconsciously my mind thinks.
I'd like to add more scientific
Hold on.
to what she's saying.
If you don't mind.
Yes.
And I'm a rational, kind of scientific-y kind of person too. But if I can have a request.
Yes.
Can you form it in a question for her?
And a question for her.
Yeah. What would you ask her?
Okay, well, that's a good question.
Do you need a few seconds to think about it?
No, I'm good.
Okay, go.
What is... Because he's asking you about setting intentions, but is there a purpose for other stones or crystals? And why exactly do each crystal, based on where they're from and what they're made of, have an effect on what they're able to attract?
See, that is, I don't know if that's an agreement that like the humans made who like found it, like, oh, this stone is going to help you do this. Kind of like with words, like we agree what the words mean. Like I think about that. Who decides what this means?
That's a great question, and that's a great question too.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's say that you go on the trail and I actually have 2 rocks on my desk. I don't know why I have them. I don't imbue them with intention, but I just like them, and every once in a while I touch it, and it's like
humans are
I touched the stone.
drawn to stones.
But let's say that you're on the trail and you found a stone and you decided to imbue it with something. That's a really good question. Like, who's deciding what these rocks can do? The person who finds it and puts it on the internet and lists it to buy? Let's see what she has to say. What do you think, Tatum?
What is the science behind it? Where they're from? And
well, not so much science perhaps, but the methodology. How does it work? How could we draw this out if we were to use this whiteboard? You go on the trail, you find a rock. Could anybody take that rock and list it and imbue it with a property and sell it for $90?
I feel like
I have a question that might help her.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm...
Let's give her some time to process
Okay,
this.
go ahead.
Yeah, ask the question again.
Sure. What's stopping anybody from going out there and finding a rock, listing it on the internet and selling it for $90 and saying, this will make you lose weight. And then it actually be true.
Well, there is the, like, I guess there's the science to, like, determine what kind of stone that it is. Because
the origin of it, maybe the geographic region that it's from.
The type, like an amethyst or like a jade or like...
Yeah, there are some rocks that are only found in certain areas. What I'm interested in is who's determining what power this rock really has.
Yeah. That's what I've wondered.
I asked that question and I want to ask earlier.
And perhaps even more deep is, why are you believing what they're telling you about the rock?
Why do I believe what the internet tells me about the rock? I guess because that intention's already set on it. Like, I could make something up, but because also I wanted to add this.
Wait, sorry.
Okay.
Repeat that? I missed it. What were you just saying about the intentions?
Oh, it's already like set for me. So it's like, why would I?
Oh.
I could set my own. Like, if I find a rock, for example, I have found rocks like on trails. And I'm like, oh, I like this rock. And I actually embed that rock. The intention of that rock is to remember that hike I was on. I don't sit there and be like, this rock is going to
It's a device to help you remember an event that really happened. What we're discussing is who's deciding what power these rocks actually have, and why are people taking their word for it?
This goes for a lot of things. Because this rock actually comes from, like, there's things saying that this was part of, like, what is it? Some spiritual, like, where it ties into, like, normal religion. Like, this rock was the...
There's the Kaaba for Islam. They have a rock.
I think it might have tied into Christianity.
Joseph Smith put a seer stone, a rock, in a hat and then started dictating the Bible. So yeah, there are people who say that rocks have all these powers. What I'm interested in is, how are you determining that this rock can do what these people are telling you that it can do?
Oh, because I decide that it does it.
Okay.
I feel like it's me who makes, like, because there's some rocks that's like, this could be for, and the list goes on. It could be for money, it could be for love, it could be for attracting random occurrences in your life.
Okay. One last question, and then we'll get Dylan's feedback.
Okay.
And maybe another question out of him.
Okay.
So, what I'd like to know is, have you considered the option of skipping the middleman, so to speak, and keeping the $90 in your pocket, and just simply telling yourself that you are capable of doing this. You can do this without a rock. You can do this, and just set the intention without the intermediate step.
Yeah, and I do that in different areas of my life where it's like, oh, like I actually haven't bought stones. I buy them very rarely, but whenever I do, it's like more. There's also a material aspect of, like, wearing it, and it's like your friends see it and they're like, oh, that's a cool stone. There's also the aspect of just wearing things in general, like wearing clothes.
There might be some social advantages to carrying it. It gets people's attention. People might be more friendly to you.
I use it to attract people who are into it as well. So it's like to find people who are like of like-minded things. They're like I've met people who are like, oh, I like your stones, and I'm like, like you're in,
Yet it sounds like there are times in your life where you are able to tell yourself that you're capable of doing things without having to dangle a rock around your neck.
Yes.
It's still something that you could probably do on your own without the object.
It's more of a reminder, I guess.
Okay.
Like, if I'm wearing it and I look at it, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm wearing my Moldavite. I purposely put it on in the morning to be like, I'm living for this one specifically. This one's more of a, like, complex one, like transformation, like becoming the best version of yourself possible. There's easy ones that are just like attract money, And
this, by looking at it, it's influencing your behavior because it reminds you of the goal that you've set by putting it around your neck.
Same like if I had like a tattoo, I guess, and I looked at it and it had a meaning to be like, oh yeah, I want to do this. I thought about getting a tattoo on my wrist to look at, to be like, that was the same thing, like, to be my best version of myself. Like a tattoo to look at, to be like, oh yeah, that's there forever. I guess I have to be my best version of myself.
Yeah, so like you're in a heated conversation with Dylon here, for example, or you might glance at the tattoo and
or the necklace.
It could possibly change your behavior.
I'm trying to be my highest self.
Are human beings making this happen when it comes down to it, and there's really no supernatural component to it?
I think it depends on the human being. Because some humans think that it's the supernatural component, but them believing in the supernatural component makes them do it, or them believe it in themselves.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
They're still doing it, even though they're thinking that there's a supernatural component.
Yeah.
It's really just them all along.
Yeah. And that could go deeper into like them being God and stuff. Instead of God being outside of them, that it's in them. And yeah.
Well, that was a great talk.
Yeah.
Let me give you my card.
Okay.
I really enjoyed chatting with you both, and it was really neat to see the dynamic between the two of you.
Which I think that's our thing. We're dynamic, but we also like understand. Like I was just explaining to him that he's more like logical. Right before we got here, I was explaining that he's logical, masculine energy, and I'm like flowy female energy.
Honestly, talking to two people is a little challenging, but the way that you stood up to the side while we were dialoguing, it was great, and it was really cool to be able to get your questions in like that too.
I like that you asked me to phrase it in a question, because I was like, I just wanted to like...
Now you can just do that all the time. Just like every
Did you prefer that?
Yeah, I
Sure,
thought it's
yeah,
like,
that's good.
I mean, I feel like asking questions creates more instead of like, this is what I think. It's like, this is what I think, but what do you think? You know, like by forming it.
I actually didn't even say it. I just had to ask it. Like,
Did you think that she was more open to contemplating what you were asking as opposed to telling her what you were thinking, your opinion on it?
I was wondering if actually, when you asked me to ask a question, I was wondering if she actually knew.
Yeah, which, see, I've only looked into the airy-fairy metaphysical side of things because that's what I like. I like the airy-fairy, like...
Hot temperature.
Oh yeah, being in the sun. That's
Oh my God.
that's the bane of my existence out here. Okay, well, perhaps you guys can look into street epistemology when you get a chance.
Do you get people that are like, that get pretty heated?
Oh yeah, and not too often, because this is a really passive, respectful approach.
Yeah, I think you're good at it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, because some people doing this might be a little bit more difficult, like trying to impose their will, but you did really well.
Thank you. The key really is to set aside my biases and be open to the possibility that that rock really does what you think that it does.
Yeah, that's good.
And I'm open to it.
Yeah.
You make me want to do more research about it. I'm going to YouTube some stuff.
Oh, good.
That is so funny, because I know...
Turn this way.
The research I shared with you, I learned about it like 4 or 5 years ago.
Uh-huh.
So it's kind of just like very vague. I was like, oh, I know I saw
About the
something
frequencies thing?
See, now this one makes me want to
interesting.
look more into the science.
I mean, it's like, how could people get so into something and believe it so well without for so long? I mean, it's like...
Another benefit of this approach is that we're finding is that it encourages people to be a little bit more skeptical and a little less gullible about the things that they're believing. And making sure that their map... Did we talk about a map of reality at the start? I think we did. Where,
right, how some maps don't match with reality.
Exactly, yeah. So the idea here is to make sure that our maps are in line with reality as best as we can do with what we have.
Cool.
All right. Well, Tatum.
What was your name, by the way?
Anthony.
Anthony,
Yeah.
okay.
Dylan. Yeah.
Dylan, yeah.
Nice talking to you.
Awesome.
Appreciate
you
it.
That was a
too.
We'll get in
wonderful
contact.
talk. Yeah, I loved it.
Fun.
Thank you.
Take care.
Have a good day.
You too. Thank you.